Two. Okay. I just want to make sure I got it all. Okay, I'm a very professional coach here. I'm scared too because I want to kind of give the right advice. So we're going to go ahead and hit play.
Spend every moment
So
growing into who you
yeah,
Let's
we're
go!
going to see how this goes.
Funny.
We got Bub here, and we got Silver Bork.
Another day, another
So
mission.
one thing I'm going to
I'm
be
so
looking for
excited.
at the beginning of the match is setup. Because setup is...
I wish violence
No,
never solved
advice is
anything.
not just
It would
uninstall.
make peace so much easier.
So-
Safety in numbers.
One
Win
minute,
more.
we'll go over and see what your setup is. Okay, so you have a flower petal there. That'll be good because then you're going to want to plan your escape route. Because, okay, so Sim stepped on it already. So this is the problem you're going to have with a lot of Lifeweavers. You will want to set up, like, at least 20 seconds before the match starts, at least, because it's a 10-second cooldown for Flower Petal, and people sometimes are dumb and step on it, and then you have to reset up, because the Sim is going to step on it, it's going to go up, and then you're going to have to wait 10 seconds and then place the Flower Petal down again. So, anyway, but she's up there. They're all up there. You're down low. This is kind of scary, because for your line of sight on all of them, you kind of want to have more of a line of sight on your DPS players, on Junkrat and Symmetra. Lucio is over with the Junker Queen, so you don't have to worry about it too much. You could like glance over and then try to get heals onto the tank, but your primary focus is healing the DPS right now. So that's why you need to go on the pedal, get high ground, and then, you know, check up on them. So anyway.
Attackers incoming.
We wait. Yeah, so we wait. There you go. You got Flower Petal again. So yeah, this is a optimal place you want to be. Right now, they're running Widow, so you want to stay out of their line of sight. They have a Lifeweaver too. And then they have Roadhog. Roadhog isn't too scary with Lifeweaver because if he does hook you, you could just Flower Petal away if you have it. You're going to have to worry about the Hanzo and the Widow though, because you're a bigger hitbox as a support with a bigger hitbox. And it's just like these two right here, they could easily hit you. So you have to watch out if they're running a double sniper. Let's see what Silverbork is doing. Rewind it a little bit.
Ready for battle.
So
3, 2,
he's with Junker Queen.
attackers incoming.
So he's bugging the Widow, so that's good. That's important. Hopping around. Meanwhile, while that's happening,
Stop the payload.
you go on Flower Petal, go up. Okay, so one thing that's kind of scary is that Junker Queen's kind of by herself, and you left her with two sniper characters, a Mercy that could res, a Lifeweaver that could life grip, and a Roadhog that could give a hook. Completely by herself, a lot of burst damage could happen to her. I feel like the Lucio Silver should be more with the Junker Queen at this point, but we're both in the back. It's like, with Lucio, you don't have to really be scared about overextending as much, just because you're supposed to kind of be an off support and get some hits on the enemy team, and you have Lifeweaver, who has a long range for healing, to go ahead and help you out there when you're critical.
The warmth of firelight.
Because see, you're already all healed up already, so there's no need for you to be in the back. So yeah, you have a good line of sight on everyone. One advice I do want to give on Lifeweaver too is the healing is very important. So you want to charge it up to 65 and hold on to that 65 charge to start up battles. Like, say someone gets a first hit of, like, I don't know, 50 damage on them, then it's like, for someone that's like a dive like Lucio right now, then you could have that charged heal already immediately set in place to start up a battle in full health, and then from there you could go between 35 to 50 health for everyone else to keep consistent healing. So just remember to do a full charge to start up team fights, and then to keep people healed throughout, then you're going to want to spam heals between 40 and 50. Somewhere in that middle area. So yeah, full charge to start up battles. Cause see, then you're gonna have to reload, and like, so when that reload happens, it's like when you run out of your healing blossoms, so you're going to want to really moderate, like, you know, when to full charge your heals and then when to spam out heals. Because if everyone is fully healed, like, let's see, like, I saw it earlier. So, see, like, this is where everyone's kind of at their fullest healing. Like, you do have to kind of trim up Junker Queen. So, at this moment of time is when you would stop spamming heals and then get a full charge heal, hold on to it for a bit, wait for someone to get damage, and then heal them up. Because then when that reload happens, you don't have to worry about Junkrat dying from one hit. Because, see, he got hit, and see, you were reloading when he was critical. So, like, see, he was critical, you were reloading. If you had a full charged heal, you could have thrown that out and then hold on to it for a bit, and then spam another heal, and then reload, and it probably would have changed it just a little bit.
Up and at 'em. Irrepressible.
So, in this situation, you could tell that the Junker Queen is kind of getting strained with everyone surrounding her. You have, I think, let's see, is Lucio there? Yeah, you have Lucio, so he has amp, so you don't have to worry about Junker Queen right now, but you want to keep an eye on her, because this is an area where a bunch of damage could come in, like that. There you go, life grip. Sweet. So yeah, you did that right. A good life grip. Keep an eye. You kind of want to keep an eye on people that are getting targeted and predict when they're being targeted, because you have Widow trying to eye shots on people. Right now, Widow's trying to eye on shot on Lucio, so you're going to want to try to spam heals over to Lucio. What's Hanzo doing? Hanzo's looking over at your direction, so you kind of want to peek the corner and just kind of try to stay out of his line of sight. And then Roadhog is back there too, I think, so yeah. So that was a good life grip.
Let's take him to the wasteland.
Really, you only want to save life grips for when people are critical or in too deep on the enemy team, and then save it for them. But also, you want to be very, very careful with your positioning. Like, usually in bronze and silver and gold lobbies right now, I've been noticing I can get away with overextending a bit, but you don't want to get into a habit of it, because when you do overextend, why is this always going low? Because when you do overextend, you kind of, like, you know, are in their line of sight. When you get to higher up ranks with Lifeweaver, you kind of want to still stay here, and if people do overextend and you can't reach them, then it's on them, because then there's nothing you could do. So you have to kind of decide when to let people die and not sacrifice your life trying to save their life, if that makes sense. You can get away with it more in the lower elo lobbies, but you have to be careful, because, yeah, one more thing too, with Lifeweaver, your positioning is, like, the most important thing. It's more important than even like any of the other supports on the support hero area. So like positioning is the most important thing for supports, but for like Lifeweaver, you want to be making sure you have flower petals down set somewhere at all times so you could escape from dives. You're going to want to play safe far away. Because think about it this way, it's kind of like Mercy is the best optimally used when you're pocketing, like, you know, a DPS that is actually getting their hits out there, damage boosting them, and then you're getting a bunch of assists that way. Lifeweaver is the same way, where it's like you could, if you know that your DPS and you know that your tank are going to work with you as Lifeweaver, then you could use your flower petal less passively and more aggressively. Like, for example, like you could try to test the waters and say, like, this is Sim's perspective right now. Place like a flower petal in front of her and see what she does with it within that 10-second cooldown. If she doesn't do anything with it, then you know that you're going to have to use your flower petal more selfishly and, like, you know, go more over to the left here, place it over here, and then if someone comes dives to you, you go run over to the flower petal over here. But if your DPS are going to utilize your flower petal, place it in front, the Symmetra jumps on top of it, and then all of a sudden she has more open range from up top to see the whole enemy team and then, like, get some shots in, spam them here over on the right or the left, or place turrets in different areas. Or you could place it in front of Widow, see if she jumps on it, and have, like, a better sight on the enemy team to get shots out. So yeah, you could just test and see if the DPS are going to work with you with Flower Petal by placing it in front of them. If they don't touch Flower Petal or don't utilize it, then that's your sign to go ahead and use it selfishly. Like, jump onto Flower Petal up here, heal people up top, or place it down here for escape route. Yeah, then that's how you know that's the best impact you're going to have with Lifeweaver, is to use it selfishly or aggressively by using it with the DPS. Because when the DPS do use Flower Petal, it's sick. It's really fun. The tank you don't have to worry about. Like, if it's a Junker Queen, you don't have to worry about it. You can place it if you don't have Life Grip, for example, and you do have Flower Petal to kind of, like, raise them up and then heal them from there. I also do want to add, like, if one of your DPS do use Flower Petal, and are standing on top of it, then your job is also, it makes it better for them to go ahead and get hits on the enemy team, but it also makes them more vulnerable. So you're going to want to babysit and keep an eye on them if they're on top of Flower Petal by spamming heals up in their direction. If they're critical, life grip them down or break the Flower Petal to set them back on the ground. Because you're going to probably have to use them like pawns in a sense. Like, the best way to use Lifeweaver is to see all of the other teammates as your pawns, like how you're going to utilize them, the player. If they aren't going to work with you, they're going to yell at you and be like, I don't want you to do this, I don't want you to do that, then you can't work with them. You know, the best thing you could do is use all of your utilities for yourself. Yeah, you are the chess maker and they are all the checker pieces, pretty much. So yeah. Anyway, that was a long rant. That was a lot of stuff. Let's just see what goes on from here now. So yeah, so it looks like the Widow wants to work with you based on her behavior and body language. Place the Flower Petal there to see if she'll use it. Now, see, you didn't have to really use Life Grip on Lucio there. You could have saved it for another time, because let's go back. Yeah, and I know you were trying to grip the tank. So, the tank right here was locked, blah blah blah. So, tank died. We rewind back to Lucio.
Amp up this beat.
Lucio's back here. Tried the best to heal the tank.
Come here, will you?
So I get the instinct that happened, but instead think about it this way. Like what I said earlier of how sometimes to not sacrifice your position to life grip someone, think about your survivability instead, because when all of this happened, you also peaked. Because see, you notice you're like kind of more out in the open, like in front of everybody here. The Hanzo's looking at you. Mercy's pocketing the Hanzo. You could get killed easily. Roadhog is just a couple glances away from you. What you should have probably done instead is just stay within this position, watch the Widow, and probably even like back out more over this way and just kind of pocket the Widow, because at this point the Junker Queen has been overextended for like a whole minute of the game, and she's already a lost cause because you have already Lucio trying his best to, you know, heal her, loop around her. So you don't have to use life grip, and especially on Lucio, just because he can speed boost and get out of there. Because see, as soon as the Junker Queen would have died, the Lucio's instinct would be like, oh crap, get out of here, turn on speed and get out. He would have probably been fine. Unless the Hanzo has godlike aim. But you should have probably just stayed in this corner the whole time anyway. And save life grip, because you're going to want to have life grip now, because the enemy Widow has gone to the left here and is peeking. And so if you were over here, you could have backed out a bit, pulled Widow out who's still standing here, and then you guys would have been out of her line of sight. And then Lucio would have escaped. So this was a part where everyone should have been disengaging. You ignored the tank because the tank's being dumb. So, E.
Thank you
Alright,
so much.
so backing out. See, you could have saved life grip for that too. So there's wall. So ults are being pulled out. Nice, nice. Okay. Kinda scary. You're in the middle of the team. You kinda just jumped in there. Let's see what's going on. Because a lot's going on. There's a lot of chaos. No, you want her dead, but instead of diving in, you could have just stood more over here and still have the same value. Because, see, everyone is kind of going crazy over here, but if you kind of stood your ground here, if people were starting to hit you, you could have put Flower Petal up and even got high ground on people. See, because you just kind of ran in. Saw the Mercy, but if you were standing here, you probably could have still used Thorn Valley and got your hits out from a safer area. And then everyone noticed, like, oh crap, Lifeweaver's hitting Mercy. They all come out, you dash to the right, over here, and then Flower Petal up, and then you have more cover up top here. He's very high ground oriented. As soon as he's low ground, it's a disaster, because then you dive in, you're in the middle, and then everyone's just surrounding you. It's scary, and then you die. So yeah, so remember Lifeweaver in general, um he's not someone you want to kind of go in like a Reaper and start hitting people, because his damage does not do a lot. And the best value you're going to get from his damage is more from this area. The only time you're ever going to want to get this aggressive and all in their face is when, like, for example, say like Widow was standing right here, Roadhog was dead, and there was no one really watching Widow. Then you could get in her face because there's no support around her, she's low on health, and you could finish off that kill. So, and think about it like with Mercy. Mercy, you don't want to pull Glock out when, you know, there's a bunch of people around that could surround you, because then you're not using her at the most optimal way. It's the same thing with Lifeweaver, where you could heal more, let the DPS do all the damage, and then if people are low, then you could finish off kills. But you're not going to want to be trying to start up kills like on that Mercy. Since you are gone, let's watch from Lucio. Alright. So, yeah, he's just keeping everyone alive. You have Tree of Life ready, so I want to see how you come back with that.
Sterben nicht.
Now, Tree of Life, you have to kind of view it like this. Like, you know how Lucio has his amp up, which he's using right now? What Tree of Life's ultimate ability is pretty much an amp up that stays constant for like 30 seconds and then disappears. So, pretty much Lifeweaver is just like extended amp up. It's like really powerful to just maintain keeping people alive while you spam heals, or you could kind of like disregard healing if they all stay grouped up within the tree and try to get more damage out to help out your team. Tree of Life can literally do a bunch of healing, and since you're paired up with Lucio, he could also amp up and keep up that flow of healing too. I've had Tree of Life from one alt just do 2,000 healing by itself, so it's a very powerful ability. I want to see how you come in with this ultimate. So the team's all grouped up, so this would be a good time to just pop it right now on the payload. Not doing it. You could have popped it up here too. So you waited too long and didn't use the Tree of Life. This would have changed the game effectively just because Hanzo popped his ult. Everyone's all grouped up. If you did it on the middle of the payload, it would have done immediately 150 health for every run around the tree, and then do 70 health each pulsate for everyone each. So if you popped it right here, right now, that would have probably saved everyone's life from the Hanzo rating. You could have life gripped someone out too. You could have life gripped probably the Hanzo, because out of Junker Queen, Lucio, and Hanzo, Hanzo has the least survivability in this situation. So, because Junker Queen could pop out her rage thingy, I don't know what it's called, Lucio could amp up or, you know, speed out of there. Hanzo, you could have life gripped out, pop tree, everyone's alive. Well, pop
Let's
tree.
take him. So dramatic.
So, cool. So, what you could have done there to survive is, if you saw Symmetra leaving, your cooldown on tree, okay, it was on 7 seconds. Let's see, why is it on 7?
Hop on.
Okay, you already used it there. What you could have done to avoid Roadhog was stay on your flower petal, get on this high ground up here, and kind of hide for a bit, and then jump, and then dash out. And then you probably would have been able to survive that.
So dramatic.
Build character.
Behold my creation.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know.
สงสัยต้องลองวิธีอื่นละ
Oh, what happened here? Let's give advice here.
Time for a remix.
Alright, so you're coming in with Junker Queen and Hanzo. Okay, nice boop. Okay, but you dwelled too long. You dwelled too long. You should have booped and then backed out. So you were doing a bunch of frontlining Lucio. Because you got the boop out, but you dwelled here and literally the Junkrat was watching you. Should have done the boop and then got out of there. Nice grip, nice grip. Okay, cool, cool, spamming. Oh, you're not having a good day, Lucio. I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's overboard. That's unfortunate. Okay, so what you could do here is, if they're not falling back, you could literally force the Junker Queen to fall back because you have Life Grip in Flower Petal on there. If I was being honest, you're attacking someone, it's okay. It builds character. So, what you could do is, you said fall back, Junker Queen charged in. You could do Flower Petal, raise yourself up, and then Life Gripper back because she's not listening. She'll be all mad in the team chat and be like, bro, why you... Because it's like, our priority right now is the tank to be alive. The tank is our shield. And if she goes in there 1v, fine, then she's just going to die. And, you know, it's just better to just, you know, pull her back, and if she charges anyway, then you could just try to spam some heals and get her as much as possible to stay alive. And you already have Hanzo in your line of sight, so you could watch him. This is a good position because then you could just dash back and then hide behind the corner and spam heals. But you can't do much for the Junker Queen as she's overextended. So if you say fall back, Flower Petal, and force her back. Because she's already critical. Cool. You still haven't used Tree yet. So they use Tree to stabilize their team. You could have used your Tree too in return to stabilize your team. Because the team is going to be harder to die now that that tree is up. Because here's the thing too, with your tree of life, to be honest, it's very easy to alt charge it. Like, I've been able to get Tree of Life by just heal botting and get it in like 30 seconds. Like, it's actually, I think, one of the easiest alt charges to get. And so if you use it, and just like, if you don't worry about saving it, because if you use it, even if it's not like the most optimal time, it still stabilizes your team. So, yeah. Yeah, use Tree less sparingly. I mean, you do want to use it in optimal places. like also you could even just use Tree of Life selfishly because like it is a good alt to keep the whole team alive, but like for example, say here, I can't give a visual example from here, but like say like these teammates weren't here and it was just you and a Junkrat in front of you. You were critical, you were going to die. You pop Tree of Life right in front of his face, you get your full health back. You flower petal, you escape, use it selfishly, and there's nothing he could do. He can't really kill you because you're staying alive longer. And plus, you could probably even out DPS him a bit. Another way you could use Tree is to block teammates from spawn. So, say you get a team kill, you guys win the team fight. You wait a few seconds, you kind of go to the front line a bit. You place Tree in front of their spawn. Now it's kind of like a May wall, except like on steroids. It's like a longer durable May wall where they literally can't get out of spawn. Um, it's really good to use that tactic for when you're trying to stall out time, or like if you're almost going to go into overtime even, then they can't touch the objective. They can't do anything. So it's like you could just block it. A troll way you could do it, which I haven't been able to use effectively yet, is flower petal above their spawn, use the Tree of Life, and then just like break your flower petal so it blocks them. And it's kind of, I feel like that would be really funny, because if you also put your tree like say up here on high ground, it actually covers more space. If you put it on a flower petal up here, it covers more space, and plus it's harder to hit because Tree of Life has, I think, 1500 HP. So the enemy team can focus it and destroy it. So you could try to protect your tree by flower petaling up and then placing it on a flower petal. Yeah, there's a lot more different ways to do it. If you place it down here, then it blocks enemies' line of sight. Your DPS could hide behind a tree and get some shots out. There's just so many optimal uses for it where you don't really have to worry about, like, you know, saving it. You could just toss it out, and you could use so many different strategies, different tactics. Like the thing with Lifeweaver is like he has a very high skill ceiling because his utility and everything could be used for so many different things. Like think about, you have to be very creative and just kind of think outside of the box. Like it's similar to like Symmetra and DPS, like how you could use turrets for burst damage teleporter, or like teleport teammates to different areas, or you could use wall sideways or the other way, or it's like there's so many creative strategies you could do with Symmetra. It's the same thing with Lifeweaver. Like think about like flower petal positioning. Like you could, like Aretha on the enemy team ults, then you could just flower petal her up, or Ash on the enemy draws out Bob, then you flower petal him up and then he can't hit anybody. You sneak behind the enemy team, try to do a flank, life grip, I don't know, like the Rhine behind the enemy team, shatter them, just think about like utilizing your teammates, because that's the big important thing with Lifeweaver. And a lot of people get scared because the DPS don't like being life grip because they've been trolled so many times by bad Lifeweavers who life grip them at wrong times, or like do it to troll them and kill them. But you gotta earn that trust with your DPS and your tanks and your other support, because as soon as you do, you could pull off some really crazy tactics and strategies. Like he has probably the highest potential out of all of the supports to do like some of the craziest plays we've ever seen in this game. So yeah, just don't worry about using your utilities aggressively, but also use them effectively. Yeah. I don't know.
A touch of regrowth.
Cool. So right now we're healing bodying. Instead of healing body, you could use tree instead. I'm still waiting on tree. I haven't seen it. That's a good pull on echo. Okay. So you could have actually used tree there too. I've had it happen before where Junkrat goes into the middle of the team and does a team wipe like this, but then when I pop tree, he only kills like 2 or 3 people, and then there's like 2 or 3 people left remaining alive because the tree blocked it. So you could have timed it to where you pop tree. Just use tree. I don't know why you're holding it on for so long.
It's
We've
not
been
embarrassing
seeing
if you
3
say that.
team fights, and I still haven't seen tree. You could use tree right now too to block the enemy team's line of sight a bit more. Like, for example, like when their payload was back more, you could have like popped tree around here, and then it adds more natural cover.
Stay here.
Got too close to Junkrat, but that happens. It's unfortunate.
Back again for
You
another
gotta
try.
just remember that Lifeweaver's biggest weakness is that he is supposed to camp in one spot in the back line. Like, so like, yeah, so his biggest vulnerability is like he is a very passive playstyle. Like, you don't want to be too aggressive with him because he doesn't have good DPS output, which might change in Season 5 when they increase his damage. So, I don't know. What was I gonna say? But yeah, he's supposed to be kind of more like setup. You like set camp somewhere in the back line, and you spectate your teammates, see what they're doing in the fight, and when things are going wrong, you kind of pull them out, heal them, and then, you know, slap them on the back and send them back out into the fight. But that's also his biggest weakness, is that dive teammates and flankers, because he switched to Junkrat. He was Widow because he couldn't get any hits on you. It's like anyone that comes into the back line, you're very vulnerable to them. Like, the only escapes you have are like Flower Petal, and then sometimes some teammates could like jump on the Flower Petal, and then the thing you have to do is kind of like play the game of tag, where you kind of just like run around and hide and distract them and stall their time away from the team. And then it's like they have no choice but to just like go back into the team because they can't mess with you any longer. But yeah, you have to really plan your escape routes and know how to survive when you have like a Tracer or Sombra or Reaper or Junkrat or Echo or Pharah or Bastion, or, you know, anyone that's just like out to get you. May, you know, it's like you gotta stay back and make them chase you. I don't know. You could watch some of my gameplay too once I start doing my comps or like games with you guys. Okay, you hear Junkrat. You know he's coming from up top. Your reaction should be dash back farther around the corner because you're vulnerable in this area. You know he's coming. You place a flower petal back here. If you see him coming towards you, then you're able to dash and jump on flower petal, and then you're on high ground. He can't hit you. Or as easy, unless he just like backs up, but then he's vulnerable to anyone that's over here. So plan your escape routes when you hear footsteps of haunting doom coming your way. So
Feeling better.
still haven't used tree. There is tree. Cool. So interesting. I noticed the use of the tree was instinctively because you saw 3 of your teammates together. But there were so many other opportunities I've seen 4 or 5 different times prior where you could have popped tree, and then you could have charged up your tree again and used it at that moment. You probably could have used tree 3 times by now. That's how easy it is to get tree. But yeah, good tree, because it stabilizes everyone, keeps everyone alive. Nice. See? Because there's so much value from it. You see all the assists and elims go crazy. Now, if you used tree so much earlier, like... Let's see, when did you first have it? Not here. Here. If you used it here, that would have been incredible because that's when Hanzo Dragon happened. You charged it up again, probably around here. You could have used it here a second time. And then used it a third time here. So you could have done tree 3 times.
Better.
Cloning module charging.
I wish I could eat.
Time for spring. Bounding forth.
Taking on fire.
Life from life.
30 seconds.
Oh, let's break it. What is that melody?
Alright, you could have avoided the Junkrat. Or you could have saved your Echo and your Hanzo and let you be the target. By doing this. Let's see. So, let's watch Junkrat. He's just standing there, bruh. This Junkrat's cheap as hell. What? What is happening? Okay. He could have done so much more there, too. That was so dumb. Okay. So, Junkrat reacted when he saw Echo. Notice how, you know, he went in the middle of you guys. Now, you hear him coming.
I wish
1
I
minute.
could eat.
You could hear him coming because you hear him walk around. Hear a couple shots. You know he's behind. You heard that. As soon as you hear him jump over the wall, what you could have done is place a flower petal. Go up to this high ground, because right now this Junkrat has line of sight on both you, Echo, Lucio, everyone. But if you jumped up, got up on this platform here, dashed into the room, then you're kind of out of the equation, or the Junkrat only chases you, and then the Echo and Hanzo stay alive and get the kill on the Junkrat. So, if you paid attention, listened, flower petal back over that way, or, you know, or even like dash this way if you didn't have Flower Petal, and run to the dock and stand by the edge of the water and pray. Those would have been more effective.
30 seconds.
Oh, let's break it. What is that melody?
Yeah, he did flank many times. Footstep hearing is very important. I mean, it's important for all supports, but like with Lifeweaver, I feel like it's just like super important.
Irrepressible.
Duplicating Winston.
What happened to Lucio? What happened? I heard him scream.
Oh, let's break it. What?
Okay, that was a good beat. It was just a little bit too late. It does keep Sigma alive. Personally, I feel like that Mercy shouldn't have got that res.
Duplicating Winston.
You got hit by Hanzo. I know it was intense with all the overtime going on, but I think what you could have done was, after you drop beat, disengage and back out so you could stay alive. Because the main thing with support is your priority is staying alive. Honestly, like, yes, you want to heal your teammates and keep them alive, but your first priority is you yourself staying alive, because if you're not alive, then your team's not alive. So after you drop B and Junkrat killed some people, you should have took that as your sign to get out of there instead of trying to stay on the point. Like, yes, they are pushing, but Sigma was trying his best. You guys could have both backed out and then probably hold over here and cut it close so they don't touch point, and then wait for the rest of the team to come back.
Up and at him.
So Echo ulted. Oh my gosh, you're in the middle of the team again with Junkrat going crazy. So don't overextend. I know it's stressful, but what you could have done is literally just kind of like let Echo do the thing. Let's see, wait. Sorry. Everything was moving, I forgot to pause. Okay, so yeah, let Echo kind of do her thing. Back out, because the Junkrat is distracted trying to kill everyone with greed over here. How do I move this freaking camera? I don't know how to do it. You could have backed out, sorry, into this room and go upstairs, and then you would probably have effective view over here while heal botting the Echo, or if you saw Echo get critical life grip Echo back over here, because she's ulting, she's Winston right now. She could build her Winston all while you life grip her, and then she could jump back in and throw everyone around and whatnot. Yeah, but instead you dived into the team and got killed by Junkrat. Because there's no reason you should be back here. See, all of this collective chaos caused everyone on the team to kind of almost die, and then probably push to the next point. When if we disengaged more, you know, and stayed back, then we probably could have held when they were a bit closer to this area, and then wait for the whole team to come back. And you could have built up your all heal body, and then build a tree to stabilize and get all those dirty assists and kills again. So they're stalling still.
สงสัยต้องลองวิธีอื่นละ
I don't know what the past tense today is. I'm literally too dumb to think about it right now. Did I just see that?
Sorry.
1 minute. 1 minute. I'm judging a little
สงสัย
bit.
ต้องลองวิธีอื่นละ Come here, will you?
So, why did you pull him? I know you didn't mean to, but you could have healed him because he was still engaging. I did hear the sorries. Okay, I'll look past it.
Sorry.
Because we pulled him away from the objective, and yeah. Anyway. And you could have saved it for the echo. Okay, Junkrat's giving me a heart attack. Holy
Have it
crap.
getting worse.
So they did cap the next point.
Barrier is nearly panicky.
You have tree, use it now. No. Unfortunate. Don't be afraid to use tree again because you could build it up again. That could have been the 4th tree, and then you could have saved the 5th tree for the very end. Cool, cool. Okay, so you guys won this team fight.
60 seconds remaining.
A pleasure.
But yeah, you could have used tree and that team fight would have been quicker. And then when they came back, you heal bot, and then you get tree. It's so quick. Like tree, it comes back so quick. Okay, so notice that he switched to Doomfist, and the reason why he switched to Doomfist is he's intimidated by the support. Primarily you, because Lucio's doing a bunch of, like, you know, grouped up with the team and everything. So when he switches to Doomfist, you have to be like, oh crap, I gotta survive. Set up a flower petal back here. You know, try to, like, you know, dodge his attacks while still healing the team. Because Lifeweaver is kind of, like, crazy, where it's like, he doesn't, like, the best way he defends himself is, like, literally by, like, flower pedaling, life gripping the tank to, you know, shield him, dashing to the left, to the right, hiding behind corners, running around in a literal circle, then getting flower petal again, going up high ground, staying up there. All the meanwhile, like, multitasking and keeping an eye on the team to make sure they life grip them out. Because, like, you see everyone here in the front, you're going to have to try to decide which one you want to life grip, and it's probably most likely going to be the Junkrat, just because he has the least survivability out of everyone here. But if they're all dogging on the tank, then you definitely want to life grip the tank out.
What is that melody?
Use tree. No tree. Okay, tree now. That's semi-effective. Cool. See, like, that's how effective tree is. It's like people underestimate tree because it's like, oh, it only does 70 damage, 70 health each pulsate, and blah blah blah. It's like if you use tree when Junkrat ulted, you could have saved possibly a couple people to make the team fight quicker, but you use tree a little bit later and it still was effective. So good stagger out with Lucio. Cool. Alright. I'm trying to think, like, my final thoughts is just remember your openings to be aggressive. To finish off kills is when people are less than half in health and are isolated. Hi Mochi. I just finished my first coaching session for Lifeweaver. Make sure you utilize your utility more. Use tree god awfully a lot more. You could have used tree 4 times, maybe 5 times within that match. And what else? Crap, I'm spacing out. Oh yeah, full charge. Okay, remember, full charge healing to start up team fights, and then spam healing later. When no one's DPSing on either side, full charge again, so you have that saved. Be creative with your flower petal. Make sure you test the waters with your DPS to see if they'll utilize your flower petal. If not, use it more selfishly. Heal, 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 because the more you heal, the more you quickly build up your ult. And then make sure you just don't dive into the team as much. Make sure you just try to stand back more and stay more spectating with your team. I don't know if I'm missing anything. With your friend Silverborg, just the few things I noticed with Lucio, if you want to send me a replay code, I could spectate your Lucio gameplay. Just make sure you just know when to disengage. That's the biggest thing I noticed, because you kind of just stuck around longer than you needed to. Just like go into an instinct in your mindset with Lucio of when you notice 2 teammates die within your vicinity and you're still remaining, that's your call to get out of there, tail out of there, and just leave. So yeah. I don't know. I could probably give more Lucio advice if I watched it, but yeah. Anyway, not bad. That was decent. And I mean, you don't play Lifeweaver that much, so over time you'll probably get better, but that's the advice I could give if you could marinate and soak all of that in. If you want, I'm also going to show this one more time. I feel like maybe you've seen this before. This is my control settings for Lifeweaver. So I just have his crosshair to just a normal looking crosshair. That's just the crosshair default I have. I make a lot of changes with his control pattern just because I feel like this is the best way it flows for me. Secondary fire cancels primary fire when using manual swap. You're going to want to leave this off, and the reason why is because when you are healing botting people, you have to stop healing to throw flower petal when you have that on. But instead, if you have this off, then you could throw both flower petal and heal at the same time. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Interact cancels petal platform. You want that on because as soon as you press the interact button, then the petal platform just breaks. It just makes it just feels more instinctively to do that. And then this is the controversial one. Use manual weapon swap control scheme. So this was his original control scheme before Blizzard decided to switch it. This control scheme personally works so much better than having the DPS as the secondary fire. It is so trippy to me because then I have it set differently here. I have it set for a controller here, so I'm going to just show you. probably a mirror of what this should be. So once you have manual control scheme switched to on, then you go over here, and then you're going to want to make 1 minute. Crap, I'm trying to think. Yeah, so you're going to want your dash ability to be the 1 minute. 1 minute. Crap. I'm trying to think. Okay, yeah. Okay, so you're going to want your dash ability to actually be the F button. You're going to want your interact button to be... Crap. I usually have it set to what my microphone button is. You could probably just set it to something like, I don't know, B, if you don't want it to mess with your microphone. Secondary fire, you're going to want, this is the pedal flat platform, by the way. Trying to think. It's just I use controller, so it's different to look on this pedal platform. You're going to want to be the shift button, actually, right? E, I think so. And then, man, I hope this isn't too confusing. Yeah, and then the next weapon, you're actually going to want to be your secondary fire button, the right click. If you want to screenshot this or whatever, this is how I think it should look like. Let me test it out in the practice before. It seems like, because I don't play keyboard and mouse, but let me see if that makes sense. It feels like it should make sense.
Sigma.
Yeah.
Spend every moment.
So right
growing
click
into
should
who
be
you
the
truly
switch,
are.
and then
Hop on.
power platform is shift, and then your dash should be just F.
High,
They're
isn't it?
hungry for a fight.
Yeah.
Let's give them one.
Oh, and yeah, you're still in the group, I forgot.
The air calls.
Okay, but yeah, I usually play controller anyway, so.
ไงสหาย สวัสดี
Oh, I gotta fix my controller again.
Climb aboard. ไงสหาย
You guys are silly. Anyway, I'm going to jump back into the Discord.
Platform